Fatality. Fatality.
Right. All right, there you go, guys. We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of the Fatality Games live studio chat. Joined alongside me today are my two co-hosts. You may know them from the GRANBOARD Beast Player Spotlight that they used to do a few months back, which I sincerely missed, which is one of the reasons that we're going to be doing this going forward. Mr. Stephen Parks and Mr. John Peters, how are you guys doing on this fine autumn evening here?
Doing well.
Doing wonderful.
That's brilliant. Okay, so glad to have you guys on board. It's an absolute pleasure to do this with you. As it's the first one, anything and everything probably will go tits up. So we are going to try our very best to keep this as clean as possible for you guys. Without further ado, our very first guest is Mr. Jason Ives, aka To The Point Streaming Castle Darts. Mr. Stephen Parks, if you can call him when you are ready, and we're going to get this chat underway.
Got him coming.
Mr. Ted
Hello,
Joy in the
gentlemen.
house. What's up, Ted? Jason Ives, ladies and gentlemen. Jason, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you, brother?
Good. Indulge me with your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, mate.
Cheers.
I knew it was a great idea for Ellie to make me this.
There you go. How is
So-
Miss Ellie?
She's doing very well, thank you. In fact, she's the one who made me this cup of tea. She's now gone
There you
inside
go.
to clean the house.
All right. Well, tell her I said hi.
I will do. Of course I will. Of course I will. So, Jason, first of all, I would like to thank you for being our very first guest on the Fatality Games live studio chat. And without further ado, let's crack on with the conversation, shall we?
Yeah, let's please do.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. Am I coming across sideways on the screen? I can
You
barely
are.
see myself.
Yeah,
You sure
definitely
are.
Yeah. Let me see if we can't fix that. How's that?
There you go. Perfect.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm just checking on the stream back that I can actually hear you guys talking. I can hear you in the headset. I just want to make sure I can hear you here on the screen as well. Yes.
John, Stephen, a pleasure to meet you both.
Coming
Pleasure
through
meeting
crystal
you.
clear.
Thanks for coming on.
So,
It's great
Mr.
to be
Jason
here.
Ives, let me discuss the elephant in the room.
Yes.
Where did you get such a glorious, glorious American accent from? A lot of people may not be aware. A few of you probably will be. Jason is actually was born a stone's throw away from where I live here in Leicester. He's from a horrible, horrible town called Derby County, more importantly. So I can understand why you switched up on the accent there, because nobody wants to admit they are actually from Derby.
It does come out, you know, you're fortunate enough to have Ellie over at the house. Unfortunately, you came with her. but it does come out after I'm talking to you for a little bit. It'll start coming out. But I've been in America since '85. So what does that make me? 41 years. So it's somewhat gone away. I'm in sales too, so that kind of goes away with time.
Oh, you definitely got.
If I drink a shot of whiskey or two, it'll come back real strong. You won't be
Starts coming
understanding
back
what I
out.
said. Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I definitely will. Right. So yeah, you are coming through crystal clear again. Thank you for being the very first guest.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, and when we can expect to see you doing your thing in the upcoming future.
Well, Jason Ives, I own with Sean Green and Tim Neal. I own To The Point Streaming. But what I may be known the bestest for is I run a show called The Siege, which is pretty big in Midwest here in America. But we do a show called The Siege. We've been doing that for about 5 years now, and that has made me a little bit of a household name when it comes to streaming from that standpoint in this area anyway. Certainly not my dart game. Let's put it that way.
Well, I tell you what, I can attest to that as well, because my dart game is absolutely abysmal. But yes, I've seen To The Point streaming. In fact, you very kindly invited me out to throw on the Siege way back in May this year. And I can honestly say it was a vacation that me and Ellie will never, ever forget. So thank you for your hospitality.
It was Streaming Wars, right? Because we got the Lucas down from Game Time Streaming up there in Michigan land. Got those down too. And how did you guys do against the local crowd?
Well, I think Ted Joyle is actually in the chat, so maybe I'll let him answer that one. I don't want to come across too pompous too early.
All right. No, just checking.
9-1.
Just checking. No, you guys played fantastically, and it was great to have 4 different streaming companies all together on one stream, and that's the wonderful part about what we all do when it comes to streaming is we all. There's enough for everybody. We're all just helping each other out at this point in time. So it's wonderful. It was a blast. One of the best stages that we did.
Yeah, definitely something I won't forget for a very, very long time. So so this goes out to John and Stephen. Are you familiar with Jason? Have you seen his work, should I say?
Oh, Jason and I are longtime friends. We had about a 20-minute phone call yesterday, and
there we go.
I mean, it's like we've known each other forever.
We are kindred souls, and we're only 6 weeks apart in birthdays. That's how far we got and how deep we got into our conversation yesterday.
I'll tell you, Stephen Parks has had a tough life if that's the case.
I don't know him personally. I am a fan of The Siege. It is something that I do watch. I think it's great.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I love the whole castle thing with it. Kind of takes you back. It's like a different environment in darts is what I really like about it.
Well, see, interesting enough, I bought my house in 2001, and it was always called the Castle because I used to have dart parties every Friday night. It wasn't until 15, 16 years later that we introduced cameras. And then with the onset of COVID, a couple of years after that, it really came the hangout place that we could do that. And sadly, I got divorced, which also led me to being in a house all alone, which meant that I could have all kinds of people over to come play darts anytime we wanted to.
More darts.
Yes. So you know how that goes. Yeah.
So really quick, Jason, Paul Rogers said to tell you your Rockford girlfriend said hello.
Yes, Jennifer. Yes. Let me tell you what, I've told her that if her and Paul don't work out, to make sure I'm the first one to call.
After me, right? After me.
Yeah. Well, the way I did it though, because she wasn't on the chat, so I told Paul to tell her if that didn't work out between them two, that she should call me first.
That's awesome.
Right.
So, oh, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I know you guys. I'm going to let you guys do your thing. I'm merely just a vessel.
No, really quick. I mean, you kind of explained it, but how'd you get into playing darts, Jason?
I started actually. I was living in Singapore at the time, and my mother bought my father. When you're married for 50 some odd years, you really don't know what to buy each other for Christmas, right? And my dad, for some random reason, took up at the British club local to Singapore. He took up and started playing in a dart league, which my mom thought for Christmas she should get him a rosewood dart case, which was never hung up and was just very, very random. And you could tell by my dad's face on Christmas morning. But that got me interested in darts, and I started playing. I came to Indianapolis in '95, and at that point in time, I started playing a lot more competitively. It was a good way to meet some new people and to meet some new friends. So I started playing a lot of, at that time, believe it or not, it was really a lot of soft tip. Because that seems to be the predominant game here around Indianapolis. And then I started playing a lot of steel tip darts. I really enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the math aspect of that particular game. I became president of the Indianapolis Darters Association, which is a steel tip organization here in town. And was president for 5-6 years, and then started getting into streaming. I saw what Red Eye Rhino was doing. That was the first time I ever saw streaming being done before. I started playing darts a little bit online because I was trying to get better during my tour card. And I was playing a lot of online darts. And back then it was through a webcam, but it was a gentleman in England that was running it. And there was a bunch of random players that would come on and you would play with them. And doing that, I did eventually earn my tour card. I went to one event. I got eliminated in both events in the first round. I decided that maybe playing wasn't the best thing for me in darts as far as that level. Right? So putting in that much time over that long of a period, I realized that I was doing darts for the social aspect of it, but I was isolating myself, just practicing, trying to get better and better.
Well, there's an incredibly high ceiling.
Yes,
incredibly high ceiling in this game.
It really is, and it's just gotten higher. In soft tip darts, 5 years ago, I'm old. I'm not quite as old as Steven is, but I'm old. Back 20 years ago in soft tip darts, when I first started playing, if you were 30 point average with a 3.0 in cricket, you were the top 10% in the room.
Right.
You could walk in the room and know that you could beat anybody.
Unfortunately,
25 years later, I'm still that 30 with that 3.0 average, and I walk into the room and I'm the underdog now. So you got people out there, the Maloneys of the world, shooting 5.0, 5.5s in a league consistently over a long period of time, and it's just reached a level that's so incredibly high that I would never have thought of it getting that high.
That's the amazing thing about darts, because it's so easy to pick up and play, but it's extremely tough to master the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I did want to ask you, Mr. Ives, I know that you do your To The Point streaming, The Siege, more importantly, in seasons. And I understand you're taking some time off at the moment because you've just moved house. Congratulations, by the way. You've shown me some pictures.
Thank you.
It looks absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
When can we expect to see The Siege take place one more time?
So here's the thing. We did move house, but I also moved in with my girlfriend of a long time. And we bought a house that has a huge game room. So this game room it's about 20 by 40. And I'll give you a quick tour, right? So I don't mind showing it off because I'm just that way. All right, but this room over here is where all the darts, right? So we've got every dart player's cave has to have a special look to it, be it their plaques or be it whatever it is, and the castle,
the personal touch.
Yeah, it has to have that personal touch. So when we can create that, and when we can unpack all the boxes and get moved in, and we're getting some new camera systems put in and a new studio being done, we'll be back on. We may be back on, and let's break a little bit of news to you three and the 4 people that are watching.
I'm down for that.
We may come back as a different kind of show. It may not be The Siege. It may be called something else. So And we could talk about that if you wish. We've got an idea,
Yeah,
and
for
I've got
sure.
an idea that I've run by some people. How about a show called The Ultimate Darter, right? Where it's almost like a Survivor type thing, where you have 12 darters in, and every week everybody plays around robin and steel tip,
Kind
or
of
they
like a
play
reality
around.
show.
Yeah, they play around robin and soft tip. But every week someone gets eliminated.
I like
Okay, and
I
you
really
get
like
down.
that.
Yeah, get down to skills. And you could have it where, okay, you get 3 attempts at taking out a 101. How many times can you do it, or whatever it may be, and the lowest score every week gets eliminated. And even one week you have a vote with your other players, and you all can vote for somebody else to be eliminated. You film that vote, you do something like that. You could
I like
bring,
that.
yeah, bring novices in that have never thrown a dartboard or thrown a dart before. You team them up with each one of the cast members, and you say, okay, part of being the ultimate darter is your ability to communicate and to teach and to promote the game of darts to this complete stranger who's never seen a dartboard before, and you're going to play a blind draw with them against the other people here.
I tell you what, I do.
The
I'm sorry.
Go
Carry on.
ahead.
Carry on. I was
No,
just.
it
I was
you
just
know
going to say.
someone gets eliminated.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I really do like that idea, and more so for the fact that I believe that all dart streamers have something offered to different. Everybody has something different on the table that makes their stream unique, and the fact that you keep evolving and changing things up, not to make it stale, has really piqued my interest, and it's really interesting to me. So I'm definitely looking forward to something
Well,
like that in the future.
well, look at what we're doing. We're sitting here doing it. You're trying something new for the very first time, right?
Oh yeah, certainly, yeah.
And I've watched your spin the wheel, and I've watched you've had other players come in. I've seen you go to different academies and show people how to play and how to throw. I've witnessed the same time with game time streaming. They've now come out with different player flyers and different character flyers in the performances that they put on too. And as streamers, it's incumbent upon us just to keep making it a little bit different, a little bit better. And that has nothing to do with equipment, but it has everything to do with imagination. And it comes down to
Sure.
what you can do. Just give it a try. If it fails, it fails. But
Yeah, you won't know
you
unless you
tried.
try.
Exactly. That's all that really matters.
So,
So,
Jay, just to kind of get back to some of the questions in the chat, did you ever play WDA that was run by Andrew Hare?
And that was asked by Brandy Phelps.
I did not. I did not. That kind of preceded the CDC, I believe. Um, I did not, though. I did hear about it.
And Paul Rogers wants to know, who is the one player you wish you never brought on the stage?
It's a two-part answer, I'm sure. Paul
I'll
Rogers.
tell you what, just for that person's own, I will not name the name, but I will tell you the story. We've done about 160 some odd shows, okay, and we've had a little over 300 different unique players, and there was one player that I truly regret bringing on the siege, but the reason being, I was in charge of everybody. Me, Tim, Sean, and Keegan, who was a big part of the show. We each had our own little jobs. One of my jobs was recruiting the players and setting even matchups. And when you're doing that, you want to bring somebody on that's interesting, that's good at darts, and they don't have to be. You can set the teams up so the two teams are level, but you want somebody to be that's competent in darts, that's going to throw the dart and hit the dartboard consistently every time. There was somebody I brought on that was just a promising, bright, young talent, and you could tell that person was going to get good at some point in time in their dart career. And they brought him on too early, and they got thrashed worse than the 14-1 or whatever it was that you won, Craig. They didn't win a game, that team, and that person didn't play darts again for another year. Recently, I saw them out of the blind draw and saw that they were back playing, and that just was a big relief to me. But that's the one person I ever regret bringing on. Sometimes you can bring on people too early. And my whole goal is to help a dart player and promote a dart player and help them through their dart journey. And that was just a step too soon I mean, you're stepping into some stranger's garage with 3 other strangers, and you're in a room that's not that big, and you're surrounded by 6, 7 cameras, and there's green lights and there's spotlights. It's a lot of pressure on somebody, and it doesn't matter if there's 8 people watching or if there's 820 people watching. It's still a lot of pressure on that dart player, and that was the one regret I have from that standpoint, bringing a player on.
And really quick, and John, we kind of talked about this yesterday real quick, but the only thing I saw missing from that dart wall is an American dartboard.
Well, that could be one of the events in the Ultimate Darter, right?
It has to be.
Oh, yeah. You bring that in. I mean, you need to. My problem is if I bring 12 people in, it essentially means I have to come up with 11 different characteristics that or ways of measuring that person is the Ultimate Darter. And so, you could do a soft tip tournament, you can do a steel tip tournament, you can do a skills contest, you can do a vote out, you can do a play with a stranger, and now we'll add American darts to it. But we're still 5 events or 5 weeks away from having a complete show, and that's kind of where we're thinking. So if anybody has any great ideas, please speak up now. I'm not a great idea man as much. I'm really good at stealing other people's ideas. It's really what it comes down to.
Well, I'll say that I have lots of ideas. That's the absolute minimum of them will be great. But sometimes you just throw things at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, that sounds like my dart game right there.
Well, when you first came out and said, like the survivor of darts,
Yep.
I thought we all got to throw darts at Craig while he was running back and forth.
Have you seen this body?
Yeah,
Do I look like I'm running anywhere?
Yeah, Craig's not running. You just don't have to be that fast. Don't worry about it.
A good episode of Lawn Darts. You got to get the old school ones, though.
I do have some of the old school ones. I don't have a problem with that. And we could do it over a fire pit just to add a little bit of excitement, right? Can you imagine Sean Green calling the dart flying over a fire and landing into a hoop on that? That'll be fun to hear.
I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So Ted Joyle's in the chat. What's up, Ted? My partner from the Siege back in May.
What's
Ted
going on,
says,
Ted?
Jason, I hope you have room for my banners I gave you.
I do have room, and I will tell you, unlike most of the stuff that I have in boxes, Ted, I know exactly where your banner is, and it's not that far from behind me right now, but it is going to take a place up on the wall. Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
We do meet some great friends along the journey in darts, don't we?
We certainly do. I never thought in a million years I'd be sitting down here talking to you guys, talking to people on the stream week after week. It's been a hell of a journey, and I'm here for it. I'm super grateful. And
did you tell the guys? I first met Craig. I watched one of the streams. I was really impressed with what he was doing. I really liked what he was doing, and so I sent him a message. And I think after my second attempt, he actually replied. And the message was something like, "Hey, I'm really loving what you're doing. Everything you're doing is fantastic, but your logo sucks. Get rid of it."
Interesting you should say that, because I was actually going to bring that up. So Jason has been extremely instrumental in helping my stream out in the long term. A lot of you people don't know that, but I will explain it now. If it wasn't for Jason, I wouldn't have this brand new Fatality Games logo, which I really do like. And I certainly wouldn't be a sponsored streamer. So if it wasn't for Jason Ives, there would be no Deity Designs sponsoring the Fatality Games. Jason was incredibly instrumental in getting that underway for myself. And for that, I can only say thank you, and I'll always be grateful for that. And I'll promise you I'll never forget.
I can introduce you to the right people, but quite frankly, if you didn't have a quality product, he wouldn't be interested in sponsoring you. And that's really what it comes down to. I appreciate all the thanks, but I've been watching you from afar, Craig, and I'm just still glad you got Ali on the microphone. That's all I can tell you.
Well, we did have Ellie Camp up the last several weeks. We had a little camera for her to sit at the computer and read the comments out. She absolutely detested it. She was like, "Get rid of that now." I don't want to be seen. I want to be heard. I don't want to be seen. I was like, "Okay, you're the boss. Can't argue with that."
The popularity of the Siege, and it. We could debate whether it was super popular or wasn't popular, but the popularity of the Siege, quite frankly, comes down to Keegan, and he's the only serious one in the room. Because it's me, Sean, and Tim, and we've been doing it and been good friends for so long. We kind of know each other's moves, so we're just laughing and joking around with each other. But Craig, you've been in the arena when Keegan gets
Yeah.
that microphone and makes that introduction. He's
Oh,
the
you
MC.
Yeah.
You're not going to do anything wrong, right? It's whatever he tells you is going to happen is
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Well,
right?
he definitely took real good care of us. Real good care of us.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
he
got such a passion for it, just like yourself.
Yeah, he babysits you through that hour and a half. So it just it's that kind of work that's important, and it's great to see, and all success for you. I'm proud of you, proud of what Game Time Streaming doing, and I love anybody watching along. Start your own stream, come up with your own ideas, and do your own thing. It can get expensive, but everything's doable. You can figure out a way to do it.
It's true. Yeah, that's very true. It can be expensive to get the ball rolling, but I promise you, if you think you have something, it's going to be worth it tenfold in the long run.
Yeah, this promoting darts when you're out of the tournament and you see somebody that may not know what's going on and not understand the rules or whatever it may be, or if you're in a blind draw, then you're helping somebody, or if you're introducing a family member that's never played darts, you're promoting darts by doing that. What streamers are trying to do, we're trying to promote viewing darts, which is a whole different ballgame. We're trying to sell darts as a TV show. We're trying to sell darts as something that's worth watching on a Tuesday night in our case, right? And it's a hard job to do, but you got to be a little bit unique, and you got to be yourself. You can't be fake. You can't be anything other than that. And Craig and Derek up at Game Time, you guys are yourselves. You're not trying to be something else. What you are in real life is just like you sound on the camera.
For sure. People will see right through you. They will see right through you at some point or another.
Yeah, and you've made fans, right? I mean, you're up against it worse than what we are from the standpoint you're trying to promote soft tip in the land of steel tip.
Right. Talk about pissing in the wind.
Yeah, in Leicester, where people don't even know how to work a phone. They still use those wind-up phone things.
That's another fantastic point I wanted to make with you, actually, Jason, if you don't mind. So I believe one of the very first conversations actually between me and Jason was I was watching To The Point streaming when you used to do it on Facebook. And I had no idea at this point you even knew who I was. So I was just commenting away in the chat. And then this guy, Jason, just starts going in on Leicester City, just absolutely sandblasting my football team to the point I was sitting there thinking, what the hell is this guy's problem? I quickly realised afterwards that he was born and raised in Derby County, half an hour drive from my house. So we have some serious football rivalries. And I thought, okay, it makes a lot of sense now. He doesn't personally hate me. He just hates my life choices.
Yeah, well, and you've had a lot more success than we've had in the last 2 decades.
We have, but we're on the decline at the minute. So
yeah,
I won't carry on talking about that. Right. So, do we have any more questions from the chat? I think Paul Rogers is saying, "I'm not smart enough to do my own streaming thing." He says, "Well, Paul, you put your mind to it. You always have some great ideas."
No, that's true. That is.
And he's on every stream. He's watching. He's one of the biggest supporters of all of our streams.
Certainly,
right?
Sure is.
He sent cookies to my house, and I'm diabetic, so he's technically trying to kill me.
But he's a great. I wouldn't do that.
Yes, but he's a great dude. He's been over to the house. We've had him on the stream before. We had him on the siege before. Not a bad dart player, and most importantly, got a fantastic wife.
And I'll be honest, I miss him throwing on the board. He used to throw quite regularly, especially on the GRANBOARD. He told me the other day he's retired. So I told him.
He's very old.
He's
very, very old. Yeah, he's like Steve's age. He's really old.
We got Derek Howard from Game Time Streaming in the house. Welcome, Derek.
Hey, Derek, what's going on, Bubba? I was just talking about
you.
You're doing big things too. I love the flyers you got coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. I highly recommend checking out Game Time Streaming, guys, on Facebook if you haven't already done so. Derek Howard runs it. I think Lucas Furway does a lot of the commentary.
Yep.
And yeah, both great friends of the Fatality games and Mr. Jason Ives as well. So if you do get a chance, make sure you give them a like and a follow. And yeah, I think that's about it for the. I think that's about it for the questions at the minute. Paul says he's retired as a darter.
All right, let me ask you guys a question. right?
Sure.
So the PDC has announced that they are going to have an event in Saudi Arabia, middle of January next year. All
Yeah.
right. Here's the thing, though. In Saudi, you're not allowed to serve beer. So it's going to be an event with absolutely no alcohol served,
No atmosphere.
no atmosphere. What is darts like without an atmosphere?
Doesn't exist. For me,
Could you?
anyway.
Yeah. What about you guys?
See, that's a tough one because especially like on the PDC, you can't visibly be drinking on camera,
Sure.
so it's all kind of hidden. But I would imagine there's probably more alcohol
Well, no one in
than
the
people
crowd's allowed to
realize.
drink. If you had nobody in, if you had the alley pally coming up here at Christmas time, right, and nobody in the crowd was allowed to drink in England, and it was just quiet, and all you could hear was just a dart and a thud, and that's it.
Nobody'd watch. Nobody will watch.
Nobody to watch.
That's the thing, though. Everything's going to Saudi Arabia. All the big sports events, boxing, UFC, wrestling, you name it, they're all heading over to Saudi Arabia because that's where the money is.
Yep.
It's hard to turn down that kind of money to host an event. But I see what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. There's going to be zero atmosphere, and I honestly don't think it will work out long term.
No,
Yeah,
100% I will.
cash in while you can. You know,
Right? You're 10
Do
million,
it.
and then carry on as you were.
Yeah. Going now, the world champions final. I think it's probably just started. You got Humphreys versus Littler. Who's gonna win that?
It's very low or predict that Luke Littler's going to lose. That kid is just something else.
Yeah. Yep. And me and my incredible dart knowledge about 3 years ago when my little sister messaged me from a betting house in England saying, "Hey, should I put money on this Luke Littler kid because he's from Warrington and that's where I live?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, don't do it. He drops his shoulder on his third dart. He's never going to be any good." See how well that worked out for me.
You could have been a millionaire.
Yeah, it could have been. No, but I think you're right. I think Humphreys wins today. I really do. I heard an interview with him before the start of the tournament, walking down the street, which was one of the worst interviews I've ever heard. But he had that. Whenever Humphreys has that little swagger in his answers to questions, he's feeling very confident about himself, and I think he might win today. Let's put your money there.
Well, my heart is saying Humphreys, my brain is saying Littler.
Yeah. Well,
Either way, Luke's going to win.
The easy answer is, I was just going to say it, just say you're going for Luke.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
Ted Joel says he needs his rum to play darts. And he also says it's difficult to do streaming as a solo player.
I bet it is. Well, it's you're starting to make the transition. Game time streaming folks have already made the transition where you're playing all the time and you're doing commentary on yourself as you're playing, right? You're starting to make the transition now into doing this and doing your wheel and going to the academy and introducing some of the players out there. You're starting to transition to the point where you're trying to gain viewers through other means and not just watching you play.
Sure.
And Game Time Streaming has done that. And Ted will go through that stage too. Ted's got too big of a following and is too well known in this industry to go down quietly. He'll be around for a long time. I'm looking forward to having him back at the castle too.
Absolutely. And one thing I will say about Ted, that's Tripping Darts. For anybody living under a rock, I highly recommend you like and subscribe to his page on Facebook as well. But one thing I will say about Ted Joel is he's right. It's difficult to run a stream by yourself, but how accurate is he as a thrower doing both at the same time?
Oh yeah.
That is something I struggle with on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
That's what's sick about Ted.
Yep.
To be that in tune with his viewers and still be a phenomenal player while doing it is amazing.
The guy sets it for master out, but then go triple 20. And it messes with my head every single time. I'm like, why is he not going for the bullseye? Because he doesn't have to, because he's that good.
Yeah, he's he's a great guy. I got to spend time with Ted when Craig was there, and he's just a great guy.
Yeah, he's the best, man. He opened
a lot of good people in darts. There really is.
I have to agree. I have to agree with that. Brandy Felt says that Humphreys is going to take the night, and Saudi Arabia better pay really well for these players. I don't see that tournament going over very well.
Yeah, I don't. It's a Barry Hearns thing. If Barry's going to make money, Barry will do it. So we'll see what happens.
And
shots fired.
What's that?
I said shots fired. Paul Rogers just said, unlike Ted, Craig can't shoot well to begin with.
I wouldn't expect any different from Paul. I wouldn't expect any different. If he started to be nice to me, there would be something wrong with him.
I was
I'd have to
actually
check on him.
patiently waiting for a remark from Paul.
You didn't have to wait too long.
No.
Derek Howard says, are you ever going to play in the PPD, Jason? And also the GRANBOARD Beast tournament.
Well, and that's, so that's what it comes down to when you're doing a show, and you guys know this, when you're doing a show like the Siege, it's realistically, it's a 20, 30-hour part-time a week job, right? And it's all around darts and different, you're doing research on dart players, you're writing out scripts, you're doing a lot of different stuff. So I'm playing in a league now. Keegan, my son, came over and played Friday night, and we got to hang out and just play darts. When you're doing the streaming shows, I, unlike Craig, cannot throw a dart, right? I can do one of two things. I can run cameras and microphones, or I can play darts. I just can't do them both. So yeah, I'd love to play the PPD. I love the idea of measuring yourself against others and working your way up that pyramid. I'd love to do something like that and get out a little bit more often, but I have a lot of fun. I go on Tuesday night. I go to a place called Muddy Boots, which is at the dance hall in the middle of rural Indiana, and there's literally guys rehearsing with violins and banjos. And I'm the youngest guy in the room. Steve, if you went, you'd be the second youngest guy in the room. And there's, it's a bunch of farmers and people just come out of the forest and we play darts for a couple of hours. It's those kind of things, and me getting to meet those new 20 people. That's just as much fun for me as playing in the PPD or playing something of that type of event. Look, I had my go at playing pro darts, and I spent 9 months, 10 hours a week practicing and doing whatever I got, and I got to that level, and I want to get into that level, but I failed at that level. I was eliminated pretty quickly, and I realized that's what I didn't want to put in my effort. I wanted to get out and meet some different people and go some different routes. I'm not saying that my dart playing days are behind me, but they definitely go on the back burner when compared to doing streaming and doing other things that we can do, like the Ultimate Darter, which now is added a new event, which is American Darts. So
just like that.
Yeah, there we go. I stole somebody else's idea again.
One thing I was incredibly surprised at being invited onto the Siege was how in depth everything was. I mean, you really did your homework. I was seriously impressed with how smoothly everything went. How much technology you guys used. I mean, you're running cables through several rooms to get everything up and running. So that really took me back. I thought, wow, this is big time. This is big time.
Yeah, we started with a webcam and a laptop, and we realized that the laptop wasn't fast enough, so we upgraded the laptop, which means the webcam picture wasn't as good as what it could be. So then we upgraded the camera, and it's a domino effect where you just keep upgrading. We got to the point, at your point, Craig, at the Siege, where we've had 7 cameras, we'd have 4 microphones. We would have 12 different scenes. We would have so much different stuff going on. But I was working with 3 other guys, and Keegan and Sean and Tim, who I trusted. And Sean has gone on to do wonderful. I mean, he is the voice. I kid him all the time. He is the voice of American darts here right now, as far as commentary goes. So, you're working with professionals. Tim built the computer that can handle all these things. And we get comments from people we got comments from people up in Siberia. We got a comment from somebody down in South Africa. and we got a comment from somebody in Manila. And just you're reaching the whole world, and I'm reaching them from my dining room, which I never really used anyways. So, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And when you say cameras as well, you're not talking webcams. You got full-on camcorders
Yeah,
set
yeah,
up.
yeah. Well,
So
we're trying to get a new camera system. When we start doing the siege out of the Newcastle here, we're trying to get a new camera system that'll do a little bit more than what that will do. So, yeah, it'll be fun. It's just the motto on the siege between Tim, Sean, and I was, let's just make next week's show a little bit better than this week's show.
right.
And we would, like every show, we would screw up. I mean, at the end of the day, Sean's a school teacher. I'm an oil salesman, and Tim's a lineman. We're not professionals, putting on broadcasts, but we just try and get a little bit better every week. And if you do it long enough, we did it for 5 years, and we may do it another 5. Who knows? But if you do it long enough, you end up getting pretty good at it.
Sure. And from the outside looking in, you wouldn't even be able to tell. It looks like such a professional production, if you don't mind me saying so myself.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You just like the logo with the dragon breathing fire thing, don't you?
Oh, well, you also helped me with my intro, actually. You sent me to the right people to get a new intro as well as a new logo. So
best $29. You got to look good. You may not
Right?
be good. I've seen you throw darts. You may not be good, but you got to look good, son. You got to look good.
At least my mum thinks I'm handsome still.
Yeah. Oh,
Right, Mum, you're going to
you're a
bail me out in
charmer.
the chat. So Derek said there's a very good setup at To The Point streaming. Paul says the best thing they ever did was Mike Keegan.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, because you needed everybody plays. So I play like the dad role almost, right? I'm trying to keep everybody in some sort of a structure or on script or whatever it may be. Tim's the best dart player out of the 3 of us. So Tim's kind of the expert that we go to. Sean will just talk about anything for hours on end. And so when you're streaming, you'll have dead times and you're trying to fill dead times. Well, you just go to Sean and he'll tell you a story about himself for an hour, right?
Yep.
For no apparent reason. Could be completely unrelated to darts whatsoever, but he will talk about it forever. And Keegan was the serious guy. He was the straight guy that would bring us all back to where we needed to be to make sure we stayed online. And he kept the focus on the game. So it worked out great.
That's awesome. So, John, Stephen, do you have any other questions you would like to ask Jason?
I do. Who is your favorite American dart player?
Well, I've never met him. Okay, to be fair, I've been in the same room with him. I did some spotting work for CDC. I've never met him, but Alex Spellman, I am a huge fan. All right, I'm a huge fan of everything that he's doing because he's trying to. What we talked about earlier, he's trying to promote the idea of viewing darts as well as playing darts, right? And he sells that idea very, very well. And he's like Jules, he's made that commitment in his life to stop his regular career to go and give this 100% attempt to do whatever he can do with darts to help his own career and to help promote darts. So I've always been a big fan of Alex Spellman. I'd love to meet him. The only time I was in the same room with him was at a CDC event here about a year ago. And I wasn't comfortable doing it because he's playing at that particular point in time, right? Again, with Jules, I've heard nothing but wonderful things about Jules. I know Danny real well down in Terre Haute. Him and I have been longtime friends, so he's always my kind of go-to guy as far as somebody that I know real well. I see other guys, I've never heard anything negative about them. But Alex Spellman, Danny Lobby, Jules Van Dragen, I like all those guys.
Perfect.
How about you? What's your favorite? Who's your favorite?
I'm gonna have to go with Danny Lobby right now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Danny played on the Siege a couple of times. Every time Danny's played on the Siege, funny story, one of the Sieges, we do different themes at the Sieges, and one of the things that we did was kind of a fundraising thing for Danny, like an exhibition type thing. Danny notoriously shows up late to anything that he goes to, right? And I've known Danny and I've known his dad for a long, long time. They're about 45 minutes, or Terre Haute's about 45 minutes away from where we're at. I'm like, Danny, you can't be late. This whole event is in your honor, right? The show starts at 8 o'clock, and I'm a stickler. If we're gonna have a show, and it's just not gonna be a stream, a show starts on time every week. So we start at 8 o'clock every week. It's 7:55. All the players are here to play Danny, and they're each paid $50 to play Danny. They're all here to play him. Danny's not there. Danny's not there. Show 8 o'clock. Show starts, and it's me and Sean in the interview room. We're on the webcam and we're talking about, oh, this is gonna be great. This guy probably has the best chance of beating Danny. This guy doesn't. And then what it was, you pay $50, and if you beat Danny, you get $100 back. Right? So 8:05, here comes Danny. He comes walking in. Didn't lose a match all night long. Didn't lose a match. They beat and we got the best players that we could bring out of Indiana, Cincinnati, Kentucky. Didn't lose a match all night long.
Some people just have it, don't they? Some people are just born with it.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's probably one of my favorite things about him. There's no urgency in him.
No, except when he's throwing dart 2 and dart 3, right? Because they go out so fast.
And like, even if like you look at like you don't see like nerves, you don't see any of that from him. It's just it's just so smooth.
Well, and he's been traveling back and forth to Europe playing since he was 14 years old. Right, playing in young tours over there. So yeah, hats off to him. He's paid the personal price too. That's a sad thing. You see a lot of the American players that go over to Europe, stay in Europe, and commit to playing in Europe. Sadly, a lot of times they have to pay the personal price at home, and that's really, really tough. It's a tough living.
Yeah.
All right. And Stephen Parks, do you have anything you'd like to ask Jason?
Well, I mean, he was asking like who our favorite players was. I would, me personally, I know him very well, and my heart breaks for what he's going through. But my favorite's probably Danny Baggish.
Yep. Well, no, the whole world is you so sad about what's going on, and you can't imagine how incredibly tough it is for him, you know. And there's a balance of, you keep that private. You want to let people know that everything's going to be okay, and that this and this, but you also want to have a sense of privacy too, and that's a tough line to draw.
Sure.
So, no, prayers to all of them. Yeah, prayers to all of them.
So yeah, I mean, it's sad. I heard, you know, the deal with Danny Baggish and stuff. You told me 2 years ago any American dart players' names, I would have no idea what you're talking about. But I did hear about Danny Baggish and the stuff that he was going through. So I wish his family all the best, and I hope everything works out in the end.
Well, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I used to work part-time kind of with Arachnid, helping them run bull shooters, you know, throughout the years. And I mean, you just meet so many great people at different venues. It's really hard to say, you know, who would be my favorite. Dan Burke is up in Wisconsin, and as a person, I mean, he's a hell of a shot, but as a person, I've never met anyone nicer.
I agree with you. He's a fantastic individual. Him and Lee Jones, another one, fantastic individuals.
So, real quick, what's your favorite drink?
Gin and tonic.
Favorite sport other than darts?
Favorite, sorry?
Favorite sport other than darts?
Football or soccer.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah. Either way, you go either one.
I actually have a quick fire 10 questions here. I think Stephen's rolled off 2 of them already, so I'll let you carry on and see how many I can tick off.
You prefer steel or soft?
Steel.
Scratch that one out.
Do you have a favorite event you like going to?
Do I have a favorite event I like going to? Is that what the question was?
Yes, sir.
Not really, not anymore. I used to love going to the St. Pat's tournament, but I ran it for 4 years. I don't go as far. I've been to the Buckeye a couple of times. A A lot of that has been to qualify to do the Q schools for the CDC. I don't get out as much. I do have the ability now. I'm an empty nester. My son's old enough and moved out that I can get out and travel a little bit more, and I'll probably do that a little bit more in the future. Nice. But I have to say, I'd like to get down to Music City. I'd like to get to Virginia Beach also. Someone stay at somebody's house. But yeah, those events I'd like to get to. I just went to Vegas last year for the first time and played soft tip of darts. Which,
how did you find that?
Too distracting to play a good game, right? But it's Vegas. You got it. It's kind of hard to not have a good time in Vegas.
And Daniel Killian, DK, is asking, do you have a favorite soft tip board? Whether it be, I'm guessing, Radical, Phoenix, Bullshooter.
Well, so I have a Bullshooter here in the new house because we do a Friday night show. Not doing those currently either. We do a Friday night show where we highlight a soft tip league, and then we have those one match from that league come in, and we stream them. So I have a Bullshooter here, so I'm most familiar with that board. I played on some of the new Phoenix boards, especially the one that's one big long whole screen.
That's weird.
It's just weird. I'm an old guy, so it means I'm not great at adapting to different environments. It took me a long time to get used to playing competitively on a soft tip board as opposed to playing competitively on a steel tip board. So I'm not used to the flashing lights and the noises and the bells and the whistles and all that kind of stuff. But I'd probably say from a soft tip diet, it's probably just the regular Bullshooter board, just because I'm most familiar with it, quite frankly.
First time I ever came across a Bullshooter board was at the castle.
There you go.
I saw one in the flesh.
There you go. Well, you saw that big board when we went out and played that blind draw that night. That's that full screen. Yeah. It's just wild to look at.
The only place I've ever seen soft tip dartboards was recently up in Manchester. They had some Darts Life boards. I think Darts Life 2 boards. That was the first time I've ever played on one in the UK. They're very, very rare over here.
Well, it's Manchester. They can't do math.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
You're safe now. You live over there. I still have to live here, remember?
Yeah. They can't afford to come get me either, so don't worry about it.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Right, so I've got a couple of quick fire questions. I think Stephen's he's reeled a few off, but I'm going to crack on with some of these for you, Jason. So not all strictly based on darts. So we'll start with your favorite movie genre.
Oh, I got to go with Western on that one, to be honest with you.
Classic.
Yep.
The country that you would most like to visit?
Greece,
okay. So you've said this is a twist on what Stephen asked, but the greatest darts player in your opinion, alive or dead?
The obvious one is Phil Taylor. And you've got it. Right. 16 championships. You can't really argue with that.
Can't get close to that.
No, there's Jockey Wilson too. Just for character.
Jockey Wilson, that's a nice shout. That's a nice shout. Yeah. No, Tony Fairweather would appreciate that.
There you go. Nothing wrong with it.
So we got a big night out or a Netflix and chill.
Netflix and chill. 100%.
Nice.
Yep.
And
big night out usually means I'm in recovery for like a week and a half afterwards.
Well, when you get to Stephen's age, it gets a lot worse.
Yeah. I'll never get there though. I'll never get there.
And finally, for you, Mr. Ives, the last question is: Stephen Parks or John Peters?
Well, John, you're up in Pennsylvania, right?
Yep.
You're an Eagles fan?
Absolutely not.
All right. Well, John, so far,
I am a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yes, Steve. I always like Steve. Always like Steve.
I've got news for you.
I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I don't like any Pennsylvania sports teams.
I got one for you guys.
Sure.
1980. All right. There's a director, Mark Howard, I believe his name is, right? He is producing at that time what was a World Championship darts event. It was on BBC Two in England. He came up with a new invention. that changed darts forever. You know what it was? This was 1980.
The throw line?
Nope. We use it every day when we stream. You guys use it whenever you've streamed. We are using it right now when we stream.
The webcam?
The phone?
1980. Split screen.
Oh, split screen.
Yes.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, it was the first time that BBC2 ever broadcast a tournament with a split screen, right? So you had the dartboard on one side and you had the player reaction on the other side. Before then, and I actually used to watch darts before then, they would have tournaments. It was a News of the World tournament. But it was essentially, it was one camera, and it was at the far back of the room, zoomed in on the dartboard, and you could either see the dartboard or they'd have another camera and you'd switch and see the player. But you could never see the immediate reaction of the player as the dart hit the board until in 1980, some guy, it was actually a cameraman who told the director, hey, we should start doing this. And they did that. And the viewings took off because you could see the live reaction of what was doing. And that's what's great about the streaming that we do. We're able to show the live reaction of the player on one side and the dartboard on the other. And that's what makes things so good. That's what makes us just as good as they were 45 years ago.
And it's going to get a lot easier going forward in the coming years. I can't imagine how it's going to be presented in 5, 10, 15 years' time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's really interesting. I had no idea that was the case, but I do remember watching those. What's it called? News something.
News of the World tournament.
News of the World darts.
It was. They actually started in like 1927, but then they got abandoned for a while. They came back in 1948, right after the war.
Okay, so when Parks was a teenager.
Yeah. Just when he started driving. And then back at News of the World finished in like 78 or something like that. But it was 1980. Someone came up with the idea, like cameraman told the producer, and the producers, if you look it up on Wikipedia, the producer's the only one that ever gets credit, never the cameraman. But the producer started doing a split screen, and that is where supposedly Barry Hearn saw it and said, hey, if you started selling the players, the Bobby Dazzlers, the jockeys, the Eric Bistros, the Phil Taylors, start selling the characters, you could show their reaction as to when they throw a dart. And that changed broadcasting. And in many ways, it's guided, whether we know it or not, it's guided what we do. Every dart stream you have right now, it's always the same basic screen. Half the screen's a dartboard, half the screen's a player. But if you can imagine ever watching that without actually seeing the reaction of the player when that dart hits, wherever it hits, it would be boring to watch because you're just watching the dartboard playing.
I don't think I'd be interested.
Yeah, or you could just watch the player and never know what they're hitting.
Well, it's such a simple premise, but clearly highly effective. It's amazing that someone didn't come up with it before.
No one ever thought of it. So something that any one of you guys are doing could be something brand new that could change the way that things are happening.
Right.
Doesn't have to come from the biggest power in the room.
I just want to say a quick shout out to Paul Rogers. Thank you for the stars, sir. Much appreciated. And Mike Hayes, thank you for sending the stars to the stream as well. We highly appreciate you guys joining us every week. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, that's really interesting. 1987 years before I was born, but luckily enough, we have the internet now, so I can always watch stuff back.
There you go. And look up split screen on Google. It's fun to watch.
I'll check it out. Definitely check it out after this. Do you have any more questions, Stephen or John, that you'd like to ask Jason?
I do not.
No, not really. Just Jacob Worthley just put in the chat that Kenny Doyle's playing Sean Kelfich, fighting for third place and $4,000.
Not bad.
Dart tournaments going on today. You've got the TOC, which I actually never heard of. I'll be honest.
Tournament champions,
incredibly English when it comes to darts. So, but we've got the World Grand Prix finals tonight here in Leicester, 10 minutes away from the house, which you touched on earlier, Jason. So, one of the Lukes is going to walk away the victor tonight. So, I might put my money on one of those. Right. So I just want to say thank you, Jason, for being our very first guest on the Fatality Game Studio chat. You've been an amazing guest, and I'd like to consider you a great friend of mine. Thank you for
Oh,
everything you've done to help me out as a streamer. I want to thank John Peters and Stephen Parks for doing this with me as well. These guys have been great. I couldn't do it without them. That's the be all end all. I wouldn't do it without them, and I couldn't do it without them. So without further ado, Jason, is there anyone that you would like to give a shout out to? Anyone you would like to thank? Let us know when you may be starting up the Siege or the Survivor Series, should I call it, in the future?
There you go. The Ultimate Darter.
The Ultimate Darter.
A big shout out to you, Craig. You're promoting a sport that we all love, and it's a sport that anybody can play. Doesn't matter if you're tall or if you're short. Doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor. You're encouraging and promoting a sport that I love dearly. We can go out and I can talk to. I'm 56 years old, which is a couple years younger than Steve, but I can go out and talk to some 27-year-old, and they will talk to me just like I'm a friend because of darts, because it equalizes the whole playing field, and you could be a little bit overweight and you could be the skinniest person in the room. You can be the shortest person in the room. You can be the tallest person or the strongest or the weakest, and you can throw darts. And it's a fantastic sport. And if anybody's watching, I encourage you to get out and play. Big shout out to all the players that have ever played. Craig, to Derek, to all the guys that are out there streaming and putting their character out there for everybody else to see and for everybody else to criticize. Keep going, keep doing what you're doing, keep using that imagination. That's the best tool that you got. To John and Steve, thank you. It's been great. You guys have made me feel real at home. It's been great talking to you. And I'm happy to make 2 new friends. I really am. I'm glad I made 2 new friends.
And Jason, last but not least, we have to give a big shout out to Ellie, who just said thanks for all the cocktails.
Absolutely. I was just about to say that. I think she's in the living room getting drunk watching this interview.
I took Craig and Ellie out to the local blind draw when they were here, and Ellie didn't want to play. Craig wanted to play, so Craig was easy. Like, hey, there's the board. This is my friend. Go hang out with them. And the fact that you talk funny, everybody will want to talk to you anyways. I put Ellie up at the bar, and I told the bartender, I'm like, listen, whatever she wants all night long, it's on me. Every drink she had was a different color in a different shaped glass. I was really worried about her. I really was. But it was fun. It was a great time.
She felt kind of guilty the next morning. I don't think she wanted to tell you.
No, I just wish she kept all the umbrellas. I mean, it was fantastic.
We had a fantastic time. It was a once in a life, well, hopefully not a once in a lifetime trip, but yeah, something I'll highly cherish for the rest of my life.
We need to get John and Steve on the Siege, I guess, right?
Let's do it.
That's the only logical step forward.
Yeah, let's get these guys on it. Yeah, let's get you guys on the Siege.
I'm game for it.
Yeah, we'll get started. Realistically, I think we'll end up getting started right around Christmas time.
Okay.
And fall and start out the new year from that. And, maybe a little bit different. Maybe we'll have a little bit of Ultimate Darter. We'll have the Siege is fun, but the nice thing about the Siege is we can bring it back at any point in time. It's just that when you bring it back, you're committing to 12 to 15 shows in a season. So you're committing to those 4 months being dedicated to the Siege. And like we talked about before, it's like a part-time job. Every day is a little bit of something that needs to be done to it. And I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. But I've also had 4 heart attacks in the last year. So I want to take it easy and kind of measure myself how we go and go forward from there. So
yeah, your health comes first, mate. The darts can always wait. As long as you're happy and healthy.
And I'm not even Steve's age yet, right? But
that's the second to last one, we promise, Steve. All right, well, I think that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the 3 of you for joining me tonight. We're going to be doing the same thing this time next week. So look out for the post throughout the week on our Facebook page, where we will be introducing our second guest. Massive shout out to Jason Ives again from To The Point Streaming for being our very first guest on the Fatality Game Studio chat.
Thank you, Jason.
My name's Craig. This guy right here is John Peters, and this old fart over here is Stephen Parks. That's the last one.
That's the last one, Steve. That's the whole last one. That's 6 weeks has never been so important to me.
Thank you for everybody in the chat, everyone who sent stars today. We couldn't do it without you. And we'll see you next Sunday for another chat. But more importantly, I will be live this Tuesday night on the GRANBOARD if anyone would like to take a game against me live on the stream from 9:30 p.m. UK time, which is 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And please check all your other local time listings because I can't do all of them myself.
Where the big hand and the little hand goes. Yes.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Is there anything else you would like to say before I hit exit on the stream?
Thank you, Greg. Keep on going, my friend.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. I should be thanking you.
Thank you for your time, Jason.
Yeah, y'all be good. Stay in touch. Okay, be good. Stay in touch.
Thanks,
Best
guys.
of luck.
All the best, everyone. Take care.
Take care.
Much love.